Alright, so we have the ice bath prepared. And I can definitely tell that Werflock stuff is what's causing that nice cloud, because that was what I wasn't familiar with the last time on the brown. And clearly it's not clear because of that Werflock stuff. But that's, I guess, kind of cool. It'll probably precipitate down and pull all of that nice you know, gunk and haze and everything else in the beer. It'll pull it down to the bottom of the fermenter and give me a nice, clean, clear looking beer. So we're at around 150. It's not falling fast, but it's, I guess, falling at a rate that I can actually watch it, you know, like a minute hand on a clock. So I'm guessing it's going to take 20 to 30 minutes to really get it down to where I want it. Unfortunately, I could have done that whole reverse ice bath thing where I stuck it into plastic bags, but you know, that's what I had to do when I forgot that I could transfer it into the 5-gallon, and I was trying to cool it down in the 10-gallon kettle. But anyway, so here's the last hop edition, the 10-minute edition, the 6.6 alpha New Zealand Mo Tuwika, and I'm sure it's not pronounced that way, but that's how it looks, and that's, you know, how most people that speak English probably pronounce it. And we'll just see how long it takes. It is 10 o'clock now, and we're at 140, so in the last minute it's fallen 10 degrees. But I know that's going to slow down real quick. Once it hits about 100, it's probably going to take forever. Anyway, so we'll come back in about, I don't know, 15 minutes. While we're waiting, I was just going to show the fact that I'm using this American West Coast yeast. Don't really know what Bell's Two Hearted yeast is or what they use. They probably use their own strain. Who knows? And I'm sure it's not a West Coast variety, so it's really kind of hard to clone that when I don't know the yeast that they're using. And obviously, since it's using Motueka and Galaxy, there's the Galaxy that'll be dry hopped later. It's definitely not actually a clone, so that's why I called it the Tasman clone, or the Tasman Hearted, the Bell's Two Hearted clone, using Australian and New Zealand hops. So anyway, that's that. I have another packet of yeast that I'm not using, and I may use this yeast energizer. I think this is mainly for wine, but I'm probably gonna add, it says a half teaspoon per gallon. I think that's recommended for wine, so I think you just add a half a teaspoon per batch. And in this case, it's only going to be about 3 gallons of total beer. But I mean, I'm not going to scale down a half a teaspoon just for 3 gallons. So we'll see how that should. It's supposed to kick up the fermentation and, you know, get you as much of the attenuation on the yeast as possible. As I keep staring at the yeast packet. And I'm about to drink this beer from Green Man, another Asheville brewery. Cool art, cool style, cool culture. Green Man, they got a bunch of cool shit. Not the top beer in Asheville, obviously, but just, you know, they make a good variety of well-rounded and solid beers. So, all right, there's my notes, and I'll go back to the ice bath in 10 minutes. All right, so we're at the 15-minute point. It's actually kind of come down on the temperature faster than I expected. But we're going to go ahead and prep our fermenting bucket. Star sand the shit out of it. You know, no substitute for cleanliness, right? But as we can take a peek, I stirred it up because, generally speaking, stirring it, so it's gotten down to about 90. Generally speaking, stirring should, well, while it creates agitation, which obviously excites electrons, it should, like, dissipate the heat better. But the funny thing is it makes the thermometer go up first, as we saw when we were mashing. But when it settles and stops spinning, it'll come back down. Actually, it didn't go up too high. So it's getting close. So as always, I like to pitch, or at least transfer at about 80 degrees. And then by the time I pitch, it's not too much above what the recommended yeast pitching temperature is. Because I believe that below 100, the yeast can survive. So 80 is kind of a safe threshold. And I'll probably give it another 5 minutes. And then we'll transfer it into the fermenting bucket, that is. And then throw my American West Coast ale yeast in there. Alright, we are close enough to 80 to where I'm happy. So, here we go. Pull out this thermometer and the ice bath. Go ahead and pour it in. Now that should be some aeration, right? So we're pretty much done at this point. We're gonna open up the yeast packet. Let me set you the old camera off. Yeah. Alright. Spray that down. Gotta spray my scissors down. Love water bottles. Alright, so throw that bad boy in there. Pop the lid on. Oh, gotta go get my airlock. Well, everything was like buried in my sanitizing bucket. Nice and sanitized. Just want to stick the lock in there so I can shake this up. Just like we did with the cardboard. Nice easily. Alright, that should be plenty. You can always use the yeast nutrient as needed. Alright, time to put a little bit of water in it. We'll even spray some sanitizer in the water. Doesn't want to make a difference. Just in case. Next to the line. Cap it on. Spray it again. You know, good luck sprays. And we're done. So there it is. Tasman Hearted IPA. It's 10:25 p.m. Started at 6:45. Played around, had a beer review. Wasn't really in a rush. So, for what it's worth, it's 2 good beers in a week, and I need to check to see what was my actual volume. Oh, it doesn't look very good. Where's my freaking So we're just right at 2 gallons. This is going to be a very, very small batch. It boiled off way more than I expected. Because I used 4 total gallons of water instead of 5 like I did before. And that's about the same boil off rate. I ended up with 3 gallons out of a 5-gallon total volume of water for the brown, and I ended up with 2 gallons for the 4-gallon total volume of this IPA. Well, 2 gallons is enough to have a couple 6-packs, and if it's good, I want to do it again, and if it sucks, then at least I didn't waste all my grains and hops and water. So, signing off. Probably will brew again maybe next week, because this beer is, you know, I'm going to need more reinforcements. So if I'm only going to get 2 and 3 gallons at a time, this is basically like one batch, and I dedicated 2 nights of my week, so 8 hours to get, you know, 1 5-gallon batch of beer. But it's 2 different beers, so at least there's value in that. Maybe I'll take this 10-gallon kettle and do maybe like an 8 total 8-gallon total water volume boil, and maybe, I don't know, 12 pounds of grains. So I got to go back to the brew store, DIY brew house in Pontiac, Lugoff, Elgin, Northeast Columbia. Alright, that's enough rambling. Time to upload this, and I'll see you later.